Part 85. Online games, I really don't want to have unlimited fusion. Author, 7 years. Chapter 842. Chapter 842, Hitchhiking with the Police. It should be okay. Xiao Wu, do you want to deal with the man in the suit? He looks great. We must take action now to be on the opposite side of these two people, but we cannot hand over the initiative to them, otherwise we will be in danger. Ye Chen listened to Xiao Wu's analysis and thought about what Xiao Wu had asked him what to do before. He was in a daze for a moment. Xiao Wu, this guy, must be pretending on purpose. Complaints are complaints, but Ye Chen still stood up for the flower shirt. In front of me, I held a pillow in my hand and waved it hard. Brad, I don't have time for you to have a pillow fight. Since you are so disrespectful, I won't be polite. Hua Shirt saw that the pillow was waved towards him, and didn't take it seriously at all. He casually stretched out a hand to block the pillow. In the next second, with a click, Hua Shirt showed an incredible expression on his face. He went to cover the arm bone segment of the pillow. Lao Wang, how are you? The man in the suit also noticed something was wrong with the flowered shirt, and he stepped forward to help, but Xiao Wu stopped him by waving a spoon. But the man in the suit looked like he was an expert at first glance, and he was able to deflect Xiao Wu's hits on him every time. Although Xiao Wu can do fancy tricks, they are just for looks. He has never used them in actual combat. Therefore, Xiao Wu's behind-the-scenes training is much unfamiliar to men in suits. Ye Chen, I can't bear it anymore. Find a way. Ye Chen looked downstairs. Why haven't you come up yet? If they don't come up, they might die. But seeing that Xiao Wu could no longer stop him, Ye Chen was heartbroken and walked to the edge of the roof towards the door downstairs, shouting help. The people who were watching carefully downstairs heard the voice calling for help and immediately ran to the roof. When they saw Hua Shirt sitting on the ground in pain, they quickly stepped forward to help Xiao Wu deal with the man in the suit. The man in the suit also under siege, he was quickly captured without any help. My dear ones, what are you doing? After they finished, a kind police officer asked them. Ye Chen and Xiao Wu looked at each other, and Xiao Wu smiled. Isn't this a weird place in the news? Let's explore and see if the legendary ghosts really exist. So, have you found it? After hearing Ye Chen's words, the police officer laughed. Ye Chen also smiled sheepishly. The ghost didn't see them, but he saw them. What bad luck. It's really thanks to you two, otherwise it wouldn't be so easy to capture them. We spent a lot of effort before. Okay, we have to close the team, you can continue to play. After the police officer finished speaking, he was about to go downstairs. Please wait a moment. Ye Chen took 2 steps forward with an embarrassed look on his face. The police officer looked at him doubtfully, not knowing what he was going to do. There are no taxis here. We can't go back. Can you take us back to the city? Although I'm sorry, we can't find a taxi here. We can't walk back. Good. Come with me. The police officer looked at the two of them with some embarrassment, and agreed to use the police car to drive them back to the city. On the way. Ye Chen, you are the one who actually thought of using a police car to drive us to the city. When we get off the bus later, we are afraid that we will be mobbed. Online games, I really don't want to have unlimited fusion. Author, 7 years. Chapter 843. Chapter 843 Exercise. Liar Martial Arts Gym. Although Xiao Wu's tone was complaining, the excitement on his face made Ye Chen unable to see the worry in his tone. It's better than walking back to the city, it's such a long way, and we're tired and hungry. I admit you are right. It's just that this is the first time in my life that I ride in a police car, and I feel so excited. Me too. While the two were chatting without caring, the police officer was often amused by them and laughed while driving. Finally, when they arrived in the city, the police officer dropped Ye Chen and Xiao Wu off and returned to the Beijing police station. And Ye Chen and Xiao Wu also went home, because the two of them were poked and pointed at by passers-by from the police car. They didn't want to see such looks, and they were really too tired. They don't want to do anything but eat now. So hungry. Sitting on the sofa, Ye Chen touched his hungry stomach and sighed. Ye Chen, I don't want to cook anymore, let's order takeout. Do you want to eat as much as you want? Xiao Wu took out his mobile phone and started browsing. Whatever you order, you can eat whatever you want. The two of them were lying on the sofa in the same posture, both recalling today's events. It seems that we have all strengthened our physical exercise, and killing evil spirits has become a physical job. I know there is a crash course in martial arts for adults, should we sign up? Xiao Wu quickly finished ordering the takeout, and then searched for a martial arts gym on his phone. Ye Chen, what do you think of this place? The decoration is luxurious, the chef is handsome, and the place is great. However, we often have to kill evil spirits, so we may not be able to train on time. Ye Chen, didn't you see the line below? Time freedom. Ye Chen quickly took the phone, and those words were indeed written in the advertisement. Logically speaking, martial arts schools generally require people to stay in contact for a long time every day, so as to ensure that they learn something. But this martial arts gym did not do this at all. The request made Ye Chen satisfied, but at the same time he was afraid of being cheated. This martial arts gym specializes in training adults. How can adults have time every day when things are so right every day? I think this is very humane. Xiao Wu said so eloquently that Ye Chen felt it made sense. So, the two decided to go to the martial arts studio after eating. The food was delivered quickly, and Xiao Wu also ordered a lot of dishes. Every dish looked delicious, which made Ye Chen very satisfied. After the two happily drank and dined, they went to the martial arts gym on the advertisement. According to the address, Ye Chen and Xiao Wu came to a downtown area. But the address of the martial arts gym turned out to be a steamed stuffed bun shop. Ye Chen walked back and forth on this street and looked around. There was no such thing as the instant martial arts gym advertised. The advertisement is fake. These days, advertising can be done casually. Even if there is no high-end decoration as advertised, at least this place should be there. Ye Chen felt a little irritated. If he had known better, sleeping at home would be better than finding some instant martial arts gym here. Try calling. Xiao Wu took out his mobile phone and dialed the number on the advertisement. Xiao Wu, be careful. It's a scam call. Probably not. The call was connected after a minute. What? Behind the bun shop, okay, I get it. Seeing Xiao Wu hang up the phone, Ye Chen walked over. You are listening to Novels at Bless Up channel. Wish you happiness and luck. How do you feel about this novel? Please like and leave a comment. Online games, I really don't want to have unlimited fusion. Author, 7 years. Chapter 844. Chapter 844 Part-time seller of steamed buns instant martial arts school. Xiao Wu told Ye Chen what was on the phone without waiting to ask. Ye Chen stopped, with a tangled expression on his face. Behind the bun shop is a martial arts gym. The bun shop is another business for the owner of the martial arts gym. Another purpose of opening this bun shop is to hide the fact that they are masters. This martial arts gym only passes people who are destined. Ye Chen felt incredible as he said it. What is the difference between this kind of talk and fraud? Do you think they are mentally retarded? Just when Ye Chen's face was full of disbelief, a young man in casual clothes came to Ye Chen and Xiao Wu beside. Excuse me, are you the ones who just called the Speedy Martial Arts School? Please come with me. Are you a human trafficker? Chen looked at the young man and asked. The young man laughed after hearing what Chen said. You are really good at joking. I am Zhang Qi, the coach of Speedy Martial Arts School. You can call me Coach Zhang and come with me. Zhang Qi led Chen and Xiao Wu into the two bun shops. They walked towards the inside of the bun shop and pushed open the door of the staff passage. The three of them continued to move forward along the staff passage and reached the end again. The door at the end was marked with there were 4 big words printed on the A4 paper, Instant Martial Arts School. Chen glanced at the paper in disbelief, and a speechless thought came to his heart. Chen turned to look at Xiao Wu speechlessly, while Xiao Wu had a blank expression. Looking excited, Chen pulled Xiao Wu's arm, and Xiao Wu was very interested in it. He turned back to look at Chen with a puzzled look on his face. What's wrong? This place obviously looks very unreliable. I don't think we need to go in again. Chen said while looking at Zhang Qi, who was walking in front. Although Zhang Qi was wearing casual clothes, he was swaying when he walked. Chen always felt that there was something wrong with him. Zhang Qi said that he was a coach at the Speedy Martial Arts Gym, but he was swaying when he walked. In a flash, he no longer looks like a coach. All the coaches in the martial arts gym look very stable. Xiao Wu, look at the name of this martial arts gym, Instant Martial Arts Gym. Why does it look like it was set up temporarily? Look, there is Zhang Qi. How does he look like a coach? If he hadn't spoken, I would have thought of him as a waiter at this steamed bun shop. Chen feels very suspicious about everything here. But think about it, they found this martial arts gym on their own initiative, and Zhang Qi did not force them to enter here. Chen, I think you are too sensitive. I find it very interesting. Didn't Coach Zhang say that? Beizai shop is just extra marketing. Isn't it just extra income? A martial arts gym was opened behind a steamed bun shop, and the name was so casual. There wasn't even a serious name sign, just the words Quick Martial Arts Gym printed on white paper. I don't think there is anything more perfunctory than this martial arts school. Xiao Wu didn't care about what Chen said. He followed Zhang Qi and walked inside with a smile. Chen had no choice but to follow him. Not to mention, the Instant Martial Arts Gym looked very suspicious from the outside. After passing that door, it was really a different world. It was a large training ground with all the training equipment, but it looked relatively deserted. Zhang Qi, who had brought them here, asked them to wait here first. Entered a room. Online games, I really don't want to have unlimited fusion. Author, 7 years. Chapter 845. Chapter 845, Instant Martial Arts School, only those who are destined to survive. On a large wall were written a few big words, Instant Martial Arts School only welcomes those who are destined. Xiao Wu immediately ran over and pointed at a few big characters to Chen excitedly, as if he had discovered something incredible. Chen, look, it turns out what was said on the phone is true. The purpose of this martial arts gym is really only to help those who are destined to be together. But don't you have to cross the destiny? Ordinary people can't find this kind of place. Chen was not as interested as Xiao Wu. Because of his doubts about this place, Chen began to look for evidence throughout the training ground that this martial arts gym was by no means a normal martial arts gym. The training props were not placed properly and they were all piled up. It's impossible to train next to a wall. The tiled floor on the ground is used to make people fall down during training. In addition to this large training ground, there are 3 rooms that can be seen. There are not many people here. After discovering these possible places, Chen decided to investigate those 3 doors in a spirit of exploration. First of all, he must not go to the place where Zhang Qi entered. It would not be good if he was discovered. Xiao Wu, let's go check it out. What to check? We are still guests after all, so it's not a good idea to trespass. Chen knew what Xiao Wu was going to say, so he didn't explain. He pulled Xiao Wu and walked towards the first door. Even if Xiao Wu didn't want to go, but being pulled by Ye Chen like this, he had no choice but to follow. Went. The two walked quietly to the first door. This was a very ordinary looking wooden door with ordinary wooden patterns. At first glance, it looked like a synthetic board covered with a layer of paper. However, this door there are no signs on it, and I don't know what it is used for. Let me see what's going on in here. As he spoke, Ye Chen stretched out his hand to hold the handle and opened the door. Before, he was curious about what was behind the door, but when he opened the room, Ye Chen regretted it. Behind the room was a pile of debris. It can be seen that the things inside have not been used for a long time, because they have accumulated a thick layer of dust. Ye Chen, look, there is nothing here at all. Stop being so sensitive. Xiao Wu, what are you anxious about? Now that we've opened the first room, let's open the second room. It's better not to give it up. Ye Chen didn't care what Xiao Wu said. He walked to the second door and picked up this one. This is a very normal and simple bedroom. A bed, a computer desk, 2 chairs, and a small coffee table, so of simplicity. This is like a bedroom. Of course I can tell that it should be the one named Zhangqi. There is a utility room and a bedroom, so the third room should be the office, right? You feel that when you reach the third door, you are about to open it, but Xiao Wu stops you. This was the room you just entered. When you opened it and met it, was it a little awkward? What's embarrassing about that? He took us to this martial arts gym and gave us a few words before leaving, and it took such a long time to leave. How could there be such a substitute? I knew I had to scold him a few times when I saw him. And it's because of him that I open more boldly than the first 2 rooms. Ye Chen put his hand on the door handle again, but this time the door was not opened. Online games, I really don't want to have unlimited fusion. Author, 7 years. Chapter 846. Chapter 846, Coach Zhang, are you okay? Coach Zhang? Ye Chen glanced at the door, and the boy was suddenly filled with excitement, as if he had finally found something he had been looking for a long time. Even though he didn't see anything, the fact that he couldn't open the matter made Ye Chen's heart immediately agitate. He felt before. All mysteries should be solved in this room, because it is very likely that all the secrets of this martial arts school are hidden in this room. Coach Zhang, are you there? Coach Zhang, are you in there? Ye Chen shouted a few words toward the door, but received no response. The more he got no response, the more curious and suspicious Ye Chen became. He suppressed the excitement in his heart, took 2 steps back, and then walked towards the door with vigorous steps. Knocked on the door. Ye Chen, no. Ye Chen started so fast that Xiao Wu wanted to organize, but it was too late. Peng made a trembling sound, and the entire door was smashed into the room. The door seemed to have hit something, but it did not fall to the ground. Coach Zhang, are you okay? Coach Zhang. Because the door panel did not fall flat to the ground, but was caught by something. Ye Chen could not enter the room, but it was enough to see the room. The room was very small. Judging from the mirror on the wall and the sink, this should be the toilet. Ye Chen finally realized what was keeping the pillar door from falling to the ground. He quickly lifted the door panel, and sure enough, under the door panel was Zhang Qi, who had been knocked unconscious. Ye Chen and Xiao Wu hurriedly moved Zhang Qi, carried him into the bedroom next door. Then he simply installed the door that had been knocked down while Ye Zi was unconscious. After completing this lesson, Ye Chen and Xiao Wu quickly left the room and came to the training ground. Xiao Wu, both Ye Chen and Ye Chen were very nervous. After all, they had done something wrong. Xiao Wu, let's leave now. Coach Zhang is still lying unconscious in the room. It wouldn't be good for us to leave like this. Xiao Wu is telling the truth. Of course Ye Chen knows it, but because he did all this, he feels a little panicked. After all, it seems that he doesn't care about it. He broke into other people's homes without being allowed space, and also caused others to become comatose. Ye Chen became very guilty from the initial suspicion. In fact, he had no malicious intentions, but he did bad things. In fact, what he said in the morning was right, he did something that harmed others, and he should not he left. But no one else appeared in this martial arts hall. Ye Chen wanted to apologize or explain clearly, but no one listened. Now is really not the time to leave. Even if he wants to leave, he must first ask Zhang Qi apologize, and then leave after explaining the whole thing clearly. Zhang Qi lying in the bedroom, Ye Chen and Xiao Wu. They were tired of standing in the training room, so they had to sit on the ground, because the entire training room except for training equipment, there is nothing else. There seems to be a training mat, so sitting on the mat will not cool your buttocks. Time passed like this, and Ye Chen began to feel bored. Just when Ye Chen was about to fall asleep, a person walked in from the employee passage. This person glanced at Ye Chen and Xiao Wu and started shouting. "Zhang Qi, Coach Zhang, where are you? Come out quickly. Why are you so inactive when students come? You are listening to novels at Bless Up channel. Wish you happiness and luck. How do you feel about this novel? Please like and leave a comment. Online games, I really don't want to have unlimited fusion." Author, 7 years. Chapter 847. Chapter 847 Zhang Qi was tortured. "It's okay, don't be in a hurry." Ye Chen smiled and said to the visitor. How could he be anxious? Zhang Qi, who was knocked unconscious, was still lying on the bed. After all, he did all this, and he should wait a little longer. However, all this came but he didn't know. He strode to the bedroom and started shouting inside before he even opened the door. "Zhang Qi, didn't you hear that? I knew you were lazy here, come out quickly, otherwise don't blame me for being rude." After the visitor finished shouting, he didn't forget to turn around and say to Ye Chen and Xiao Wu, "Don't mind, my voice is loud." I don't mind, it's up to you. We are in no hurry." Xiao Wu smiled and waved his hand towards the visitor, hiding his embarrassment. The visitor also smiled favorably at Xiao Wu and Ye Chen, but the smile was on a strong muscular man, and it didn't look so warm. "Zhang Qi, come out quickly. Otherwise, don't blame me for being rude." Since Zhang Kai's fainting was caused by Ye Chen, he couldn't bear to hear what he said. "Don't worry, maybe Coach Zhang was too tired, so he was resting and didn't hear it. I knew this kid was sleeping. During working hours, he secretly slept while I was away. How abominable." "Working hours," this person said. "Working hours." Ye Chen and Xiao Wu began to speculate who the man was. Just when they were full of doubts, the next scene shocked them. The man turned towards the door and turned to Yiko. The entire door panel was kicked down by him, and they fell into the bedroom. Ye Chen and Xiao Wu were startled, and they began to pray for Zhang Qi at the same time. Maybe their prayers were seen by God, and the door was not there. It hit Zhang Qi. Fortunately, just when Ye Chen and Xiao Wu just breathed a sigh of relief, a scene that surprised them even more happened. The person who came didn't care whether the door panel hit Zhang Qi or not. Instead, he walked directly into the room on the wooden board and picked Zhang Qi up like a chicken. "Hello. Who are you?" Seeing how rude the visitor was, Xiao Wu finally couldn't help it. He really couldn't bear to see a person who had just been injured and hadn't woken up yet being tortured for the second time without his knowledge. After hearing Xiao Wu's question, the visitor turned his head in confusion, looked at Xiao Wu, and then froze. Don't you even know me?" Sure enough, this guy Zhang Qi is so unreliable. "Let me tell you, I am the director of this martial arts gym." "Curator? Ye Chen and Xiao Wu were equally shocked. They couldn't believe that the burly man in front of them was actually the director of this martial arts gym. Although the man in front of them was rude, at least he looked more like a martial artist than Zhang Qi. Domineering. Steady. Also, he is upright. He just seems to have a bad temper. But it doesn't matter. After all, so far, they have nothing to do with this martial arts gym. After Ye Chen and Xiao Wu continued to be shocked next, the curator lifted Zhang Qi from the bed and threw him to the ground of the training ground. Zhang Qi woke up from the fall. Ah! With a painful roar, Zhang Qi opened his eyes, covering his thrown butt with his hands, and his face was twisted in pain. Online games, I really don't want to have unlimited fusion. Author, 7 years. Chapter 848. Chapter 848 Becoming Invincible in Half a Month. However, his frown seemed to be stretched to his head. He grinned, ignoring the pain in his buttocks, and reached out to touch his head. This touch was so serious that Zhang Kai's eyes widened in surprise. Master, you are too fierce. I have such a big bump on my head, do you want to make me mentally retarded? If you are mentally retarded, it will be considered mild if you are mentally retarded. I want to beat you until you are paralyzed. 2 people finally came to our martial arts school. You were not here to greet you, but you went back to the bedroom to sleep. I won't beat you, and I will keep you. It's Chinese New Year. After the master said this, Zhang Qi remembered that there were 2 more people. He turned around and saw Ye Chen and Xiao Wu, who looked embarrassed. He scratched his head in embarrassment. Of course, it was the half of the head that didn't hurt. Sorry, how could I forget that? Did you 2 come to our instant martial arts school to study? In line with the spirit of scholars being the greatest, our quick martial arts school has specially designed a set of quick martial arts learning methods for beginners with zero foundation. This set of martial arts instruction is specially designed for people like you with zero foundation, ensuring that you will become a master in the shortest possible time. How long is the shortest time? Although he was very suspicious of what Zhang Qi said, the last sentence made Ye Chen tempted. Isn't time what he lacks now? If he can become a master in the shortest time, he can kill evil spirits. When he was there, he wouldn't be exhausted from chasing evil spirits like last time. In response to Ye Chen's question, Zhang Kai's eyes lit up, which was a good sign. When the consultant started asking questions, it meant that he was moved. As long as the consultant is a little bit moved, even the slightest bit of heartbeat, Zhang Qi is sure to get his money. Regardless of the physical pain, Zhang Qi enthusiastically pulled Ye Chen and Xiao Wu to a cushion. In terms of time, it still depends on your own physique. But our martial arts school guarantees that you can survive within 2 months at most. Let's put it this way. As long as you come to our instant martial arts studio, there's nothing you can't do. When you hear this name, you can also know the strength of our martial arts school. If you can do it quickly, it will definitely work. The slogan of your martial arts school is a little bit. It's a bit as random as the name of this martial arts school. Ye Chen didn't say the second half of the sentence. However, this made Zhang Qi wrong. He looked at Ye Chen happily, thinking that he had already decided. Just by looking at the momentum, we knew there was absolutely no problem. Come on, handsome. The monthly fee is 688, but I suggest you buy the annual fee. The annual fee will be 6,888 for you. How about it? Isn't it a good deal? Ye Chen was confused. What's going on here? Before he could decide, a QR code appeared in front of him. Ye Chen raised his head and saw Zhang Kai's flattering smiling face. Come on, handsome guy. In my opinion, a handsome guy with such a good physique can definitely become invincible in half a month. Half a month. This Zhang Qi is so unscrupulous. He also praised his good physique. Listening to his late-stage gastric cancer, how has his physique improved? This is just to make money, and he tells lies. But, having said that, 15 heaven is indeed a time that satisfies Ye Chen. What if, right? Xiao Wu, what do you think? I think, the words are exaggerated, lies, fail to achieve the purpose, and are shameless. Online games, I really don't want to have unlimited fusion. Author, 7 years. Chapter 849. Chapter 849, Master, you can make more money by opening a martial arts studio than selling steamed buns. Xiao Wu looked at Zhang Qi with disdain, and his body was completely bruised by the forward quarrel. Zhang Qi also had a look of embarrassment on his face. After all, it was impossible to pretend that he didn't understand such a straightforward insult, so he could only pretend that he didn't hear it. Zhang Kai's eyes rolled. He knew that Ye Chen had been persuaded by him, and now he only needed to win Xiao Wu's order. If the deal is successful, he will be able to show off his power in front of his master. After all, this is their first order since opening the martial arts gym. However, the person in front of him is not very interested in quick success, which shows that he doesn't care about it. So what does he care about? Zhang Qi unexpectedly closed his mouth and stopped talking. To be honest, what Xiao Wu just said just expressed his truest evaluation of Zhang Qi, and it did not affect his decision. Because his decision was to be with Ye Chen. Xiao Wu, how about we try it here? If after 15 days, our training has no effect at all, we will test it again. What do you think? I'm afraid I won't be able to get the money back by then. Xiao Wu said truthfully. Ye Chen, who was originally excited, began to calm down after hearing Xiao Wu's reminder. Zhang Qi saw the change in Ye Chen's attitude and panicked in his heart. How can this be done? This order must be done become. This handsome guy, these two handsome guys, I promise, it won't have any effect. How about I refund your money? When Zhang Qi said this, he said it sincerely, for fear that Ye Chen wouldn't believe him. He even blinked twice at Ye Chen. Can you withdraw? Certainly. If it doesn't work, just quit decisively. When the time comes, let alone the merchants you can't find, won't our bun shop still have to be open? Let me tell you, this is an absolute guarantee. Pay now and be safe. Ye Chen was persuaded by Zhang Qi, not because of whether he could get a refund, but mainly because he wanted to experience a 15-day transformation. If, after 15 days, he could become a grandmaster, that would be a huge profit. Ye Chen, because Chen was so immersed in his own fantasy, he completely forgot one fact. Did you start training in any of them when you were young? Practice 3 cold days in winter and 3 hot days in summer. It took more than 10 years or even decades of daily training to achieve this. How could it be possible in just a few days? Xiao Wu looked at Ye Chen as if he were an idiot, but he really didn't want to ruin his dream, so he took out his mobile phone, scanned the code, and paid in one go. WeChat payment 13,776 yuan. The WeChat account notification shocked all 3 people present. Zhang Qi glanced at Xiao Wu in disbelief, and then ran towards the curator. The curator was checking on his mobile phone with a look of joy on his face. Arrival information. It's really arrived. Let me count, 1, 3, 4, 5, Zhang Qi. 5 digits, haha, 5 digits. Haha, 13,176. Master, let me just say that opening a martial arts studio makes more money than selling steamed buns. You still don't believe it? Zhang Qi looked arrogant, but the curator was not angry. He still held the phone and giggled. After Ye Chen was surprised, he looked at Xiao Wu reproachfully. Xiao Wu, why are you so anxious to pay? I haven't bargained yet. 13,776, I can chop at least 12,000. We are at a loss. Lost more than 10,000 yuan. You are listening to Novels at Bless Up channel. Wish you happiness and luck. How do you feel about this novel? Please like and leave a comment. Online games, I really don't want to have unlimited fusion. Author, 7 years. Chapter 850. Chapter 850, Being a waiter is the first step to becoming a master? As Suchen said this, he beat his chest as if he had lost money. Xiao Wu looked at Suchen speechlessly and patted his shoulder. It's okay. Just treat this martial arts gym as a relief. Look at how pitiful they too have never seen money. Suchen, who was originally depressed, turned his head and saw the curator and Zhang Qi hugging each other, looking happy when they saw the account records. He scratched his head with a look of disbelief on his face. Is there anyone more short of money than me? After a sudden burst of excitement and shock, Suchen and Xiao Wu officially became students of the Quick Martial Arts School. I heard from the curator that if you want to learn quickly, you need to live and eat with them. According to him, only in this way can you teach by words and deeds all the time, learn in the shortest time, and become a master. In order to learn quickly, Suchen and Xiao Wu immediately went home, packed their luggage, and came to the Quick Martial Arts School. I used to think that the Speedy Martial Arts Gym was not big, but in fact, there was a secret door in the training ground. Suchen and Xiao Wu were taken into a secret door. Behind the secret door was a standard room. This standard room was the same size as the bedroom Zhang Qi slept in, and contained only some daily necessities. After Suchen and Xiao Wu packed the luggage they brought, they went to find the curator to see if there was anything they needed to do today. Then, Suchen and Xiao Wu, wearing red aprons, were placed in the bun shop. Ye Chen, what is going on? Xiao Wu looked at the red apron on his body and looked at Suchen with an embarrassed look. Suchen was also helpless. The director said that they should relax today and start training tomorrow. Then, the curator took them into the bun shop. What else could happen? Can't you understand? Buns, aprons, guests, we are now waiters. Suchen, I don't like cosplay. I don't like it either. Suchen and Xiao Wu were rejecting each other. What a joke. He, Suchen, has been through countless things, and he was brought to a small bun shop to be a waiter. How could he possibly do it? And Xiao Wu, although he didn't know what does he do, but someone who has money at all times and spends more than 10,000 without blinking an eye, can he be the best waiter? This is not role-playing, this is experiencing life. Think about it. Among the famous masters in the world, which one has learned from the most basic life, and which one has learned his unique skills from ordinary life? Take it easy. Today, now, this bun shop is the first step for you to become a master. Come on, boys. Zhang Qi suddenly appeared, and after making some unbelievable remarks, he pushed Suchen and Xiao Wu to the center of the bun shop hall. There was only one table of customers in the corner of the bun shop, and they were a little confused. He looked at the two people who were at a loss. Suchen pushed Xiao Wu. Xiao Wu, it seems that we have to break through ourselves today. Suchen comforted Xiao Wu while also obeying himself, but before he finished speaking, Xiao Wu had already walked towards a new customer who entered the store. Xiao Wu walked slowly and calmly, with a calm expression on his face. Sunshine's smile caused a young lady to take out her mobile phone and take pictures of him crazily. But Xiao Wu didn't mind at all. Suchen was dumbfounded. He was still here comforting Xiao Wu. The teaching hadn't been completed yet, and Xiao Wu was already self-taught. Got it? Online games, I really don't want to have unlimited fusion. Author, 7 years. Chapter 851. Chapter 851 Let you see my Zhang Kai's skills today. The ordering process was very pleasant, and Xiao Wu dealt with the guests in an orderly manner. When Xiao Wu appeared next to Suchen again, he raised his eyebrows at him. There's nothing difficult about Suchen. Don't you think I did a great job? I really don't know why the curator asked us to do this. We paid for it, so how can we be treated as free waiters? Working as a waiter at this steamed stuffed bun restaurant, what can't you do to get some exercise? Suchen complained for a while. He really didn't want to do this. Facing Suchen's question, Xiao Wu tilted his head and thought about it seriously, and then said seriously. If there is anything we can learn from being a waiter in this steamed stuffed bun restaurant, I think it must be to develop our shamelessness. Puff. Cheeky. Does being thick-skinned make you a master? Isn't this nonsense? Look at Zhang Qi, is he thick-skinned enough? How does he look like a master? Suchen was talking when suddenly a slap hit him on the shoulder. He could only turn around slowly and found Zhang Qi looking at him with a fake smile on his face. Suchen, what do you mean? Do you think I am nothing but thick-skinned? I am your coach, which coach is so stupid? It is really embarrassing to say bad things and be heard by others. In this situation, you have been caught by the real owner. Is there anything more embarrassing than this? Suchen felt the pressure on his shoulders. The intensity became stronger and stronger, and I could only watch Zhang Qi smiling shamelessly. Finally, Zhang Qi let go of his hand on Suchen's shoulder, and then stared at Suchen and Xiao Wu with a serious look on his face. Today, I will let you two see what I am capable of, Zhang Qi. After Zhang Qi finished speaking, he gave the two of them a warning look, and then walked towards the new man and woman in front. Just when the two of them were looking forward to Zhang Kai's performance, there was a pop and Zhang Kai's whole body fell to the ground. Ha! Shh! Xiao Wu laughed out loud immediately, but Suchen pointed to the apron on his body and reminded Xiao Wu not to laugh. After all, they are both waiters now. But in fact, Suchen's face was already sore from holding back his laughter. As if he had already guessed that he would be laughed at by the two brats after being thrown down, Zhang Qi turned his head and gave an angry middle finger to the two people who were suppressing their laughter. He still said two words silently at the corner of his mouth. Wait. Stand up. Zhang Qi didn't seem to be embarrassed by the fall. He supported the ground with one hand and used the other arm to rotate his body. The whole person spun from the ground and stood up. The guests who were originally stunned saw Zhang Qi. This action gave him a thumbs up in admiration. Even Suchen and Xiao Wu silently said in their hearts that it was awesome. Although Zhang Qi seemed a little unreliable, his single action just now, ordinary people can't do it. It seems that Coach Zhang is still capable. Not only Suchen felt this way, but even Xiao Wu nodded in agreement. After Zhang Qi ordered the food for the guests with ease, he looked at him with a proud look on his face. Suchen and Xiao Wu shook the menus in their hands, with eyes full of "You guys should learn to order." Although Zhang Kai's behavior was provocative, it did not make Suchen and Xiao Wu feel disgusted.